All right, brand new I Am Rapaport stereo podcast is coming up next. We're talking NFL. The Super Bowl is set. The Los Angeles Rams, who just 2 years ago were the St. Louis Rams, are playing the New England Patriots. Who am I rooting for? I don't even know yet. I'm not sure, but I am hyped for the game. I watched some cool shit on Netflix. I'm talking about that. The Fyre Festival documentary and Blue Planet Season 2, plus the MAGA hat Native American incident that happened in Washington, D.C. We're breaking it down blow for blow, shot for shot, video for video, and so much more on a brand new smash mouth I Am Rapaport stereo podcast. Miles Jordan, please let me get something real nice, something real proper, but most importantly, something real funky. Today's episode of the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast is brought to you by Away Luggage. First class luggage at a coach price. I love Away Luggage. This company was founded by two friends from New York who found themselves at JFK Airport with dead phones, delayed flights, and a bright idea. Luggage with power. Never have a dead phone or tablet while traveling again. I love my Away Luggage. I take it everywhere I go. Carry on for short trips and the large bag for my longer stays. Choose from a variety of colors and 4 sizes. The carry-on, the bigger carry-on, the medium, or the large. There's also a TSA-approved combination lock built into the top of the bag to prevent theft. And there's a removable, washable laundry bag inside that keeps dirty clothes separate from the clean. Both sizes of the carry-on are able to charge all cell phones, tablets, e-readers, and anything else that is powered by a USB cord. Do you understand? So if your phone or your computer runs out of juice, you can charge it with your Away bag. I use it all the time. A single charge of the Away carry-on will charge your iPhone 5 times. Also, gives you a lifetime warranty. If anything breaks, they will fix it or replace it for you. Lifetime guaranteed. You want to try it? Try it. 100-day trial. Live with it. Vibe with it. Travel with it. Instagram it. If at any point you decide you do not want it, return it in full. No questions asked. Free shipping on any Away order within the lower 48 states. Carry-on sizes that are a complement with all major U.S. airlines while maximizing the amount you can pack. For $20 off a suitcase, visit awaytravel.com. That's awaytravel.com and use the promo code CHAMP during checkout. That's awaytravel.com. Use the promo code CHAMP during checkout. Get away for the best luggage today. First class luggage at a coach price. All right, this is the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast. My name is Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. the Gringo Mandingo, a.k.a. the Segway King, a.k.a. the Jake LaMotta of Podcasting, a.k.a. the White Arsenio Hall. And we're back. We are back from a long weekend. It was, of course, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So we had a 3-day weekend. Much needed 3-day weekend, I guess, in terms of the craziness. The never-ending craziness in the world we live in today. We had an emergency I Am Rapaport stereo podcast drop. If you do not have the I Am Rapaport app, you need to get it because we drop when, where, from, wherever we choose. We did a Walking with Wheezy NFL conference finals emergency podcast. And I'm still hyped about these games. I'm still very hyped about the Super Bowl that is coming. I can't wait. I have no real vested personal interest in the game, but I think it's going to be a great game. It is the Los Angeles Rams versus the New England Patriots. And listen, the reality is I have been living back and forth in Los Angeles since 1989. I came out to Los Angeles in June of 1989. I was 19 years old. I still have my apartment in New York. I have lived in both places, but since my kids have been born, I have spent, I have to say, 60 to 40% of my time since my kids were born in Los Angeles. That being said, I do not, will not, and ever imagine myself to consider myself a Los Angelino. I love LA. It's dope. It's cool. It's a good city. I've been here for a long time. A lot of friends here, a lot of roots here. My kids are here. As I said, my dog Wheezy was here, although he was found in the dog pound of New Orleans, hence the name Wheezy. But let's not forget, the Los Angeles Rams were, just a few years ago, the St. Louis Rams, okay? And they went from St. Louis to Los Angeles. I believe this is their third season in LA. Yeah, it's their third season in Los Angeles. I love Jared Goff. I love Todd Gurley. I love Aaron Donald. I love Brandon Cooks. I love Sean McVay, all that stuff. But I have no emotional ties to this fucking team. Okay? It is well documented how I feel about the New England Patriots. But I made a pledge to try to appreciate their greatness while they were here. Because when they're fucking gone, we're all going to lose. We're all going to miss the greatness of the New England Patriots. It's been so fun for, I believe, has it been 19 years or 17 years to root against these cocksuckers? It's been so fun to watch them lose Super Bowls, to win Super Bowls, as much pain as it's given me. It was nothing. Now, basketball is my first sport there, but it'll be hard to maybe the Knicks winning an NBA championship during my lifetime. But even then, the dramatic fashion that the New York Giants beat the shit out of the New England Patriots, it'll be hard to ever get that satisfaction from a sporting event again. Because I wanted it, Giants fans wanted it so bad to beat that 18-0 Patriots team, and we did it. Julian Edelman, I know you're listening, okay? We did it. Now, we might say, oh, that was fucking long time ago. Not in my mind. In my mind, it was last night. Speaking of last night, I literally had such a vivid, when you have certain dreams that are so vivid, I had a dream that Biggie Smalls was alive and I met him, and it bugged me out. I'll get to that later if I remember. But that being said, my frustration, hatred, and appreciation of my frustration and hatred of the New England Patriots is very well documented. If you do not have my book, this book has balls, sports rants from the MVP of talking trash. You need to get it. It's available on paperback. It's available on audiobook, on all book platforms, Amazon, bookstores, the whole deal. It's legitimate. It's not some bootleg book, but I write down passionately my feelings about Bill Belichick. What's his name? Bill Belichick, Chick. Bill Belichick, Check, sorry. That being said, I'm going to be totally transparent here. I was rooting for the New England Patriots. I wanted the New England Patriots versus the New Orleans Saints, and then I would assess the situation. Of course, I would have to go with the New Orleans Saints because Sean Payton's my guy, and I just can't philosophically and publicly endorse the Patriots, even though at this point, Julian Edelman should just be called Rabbi Julian Edelman. He's the greatest living Jew we have. I know he's half Jewish or he's a converted Jew. I don't give a fuck what the mathematical scheme is with Julian Edelman's Judaism. He's our guy. He represents the Jews. Right now, he's the greatest living Jew we have. This little motherfucker is about 5'10", okay? If you saw Julian Edelman in real life, he looks like, I'm telling you, you would walk past him. You wouldn't pay any fucking attention to this little Rabbi Julian Edelman. This fucking guy is out there running across the middle of a football field knowing he's going to get the shit knocked out of him. And 9 out of 10 times he catches the fucking ball. That's King Jew shit. And he does it year after year after year after fucking year. Remember they suspended him earlier this season? Remember 2 seasons ago he tore his ACL or his MCL or his AC? I don't know what the fuck it is. Rabbi Julian Edelman is the greatest living Jew we have right now. I mean, it could change next month. Somebody could emerge. But forget entertainment. Larry David's not even in the same fucking ballpark as fucking Rabbi Julian Edelman. And I know a lot of my fans, I know a lot of people listening to this right now are going to go, whoa, what are you saying, Rapaport? Dingo, what are you saying? Are you saying you're rooting for the New England Patriots to beat the Los Angeles Rams, the city that you live in, the city that you have a driver's license in? And I'm going to say this. I am on the fence about it. But come Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, which is in 2 weeks. Don't forget, it's not this week. They give these guys 2 weeks to prepare, as they should. I think I'm rooting for the Patriots. Now, if they lose, I'll snicker about it. I'm not saying I won't be happy that they lose, but the Los Angeles Rams just 2.5 years ago were the fucking St. Louis Rams. This isn't a Los Angeles football team. Eric Dickerson with the jerry curls and the neck brace. They just moved here. I have no emotional ties to these guys. Yes. I love Jared Goff. I'm rooting for this fucking guy. Okay? He's an underdog. People were shitting on Jared Goff after his first foray in the NFL. He played about 4 games. He didn't look good. He's bounced back. I like it. Met him. Cool as shit. Nice. Underdog. He's an underdog. He's another guy. He doesn't run. He's like a Brady-ish. Ish. Say ish, like Jewish-ish, blackish-ish. He's Brady-ish. He's a pocket passer. He can't run. He looks kind of like, what's going on, Jared? Hello? Look at me. You know, there's not really emotion in his face. Listen, all I'm saying is this. I am very excited about the Super Bowl. And as of right now, if I'm being totally honest with the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast fans, and I think of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast fans as friends. I think of you guys as family. I say things on here that I would never say anywhere else, even though it could be, popped out there. But I don't get snitched on by I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast fans. I could say things on here. People aren't like, yo, Mike Rapp said this, trying to take me out of context. Because you guys are the fans. All of you fucking guys. The Rapapack, new fans, old fans, day 1 fans, day 66 fans, year 2 fans. It doesn't fucking matter. You're the fucking fans. So I feel comfortable. Listen, can't fuck the fans. Cannot fuck the fans. Now, I said it once, I'll say it again. If the fans want to get together and fuck each other, that's on your own terms. I got to be honest, I don't even want to know about it. But if I'm being totally transparent, right now, today, okay, a week, over almost 2 weeks out before the Super Bowl, I am rooting for the New England Patriots to win the fucking Super Bowl. There, I fucking said it. It could change. Don't hold me to it, you fucks, you. Do not fucking hold me to it. But I am a man without a team. I have no vested interest in this. I have a vested interest in Rapaport's Delight, a.k.a. A History of Violence, a.k.a. There Will Be Blood. My fantasy football team. These guys are like family members to me. Greg Zuerlein of the Los Angeles Rams, the kicker. This guy, if he was ever stuck on the side of the road, and it was raining and pouring, and I was in a rush to go somewhere, I would stop and help him. Okay? Brandon Cooks, same thing. Okay? Guys on the Saints, same thing. There's different players. C.J. Anderson, who's now part of the Los Angeles Rams. I had him last season. He won me a game. This is family to me. Okay? So I'm looking at it from a fantasy football guy. My New York Giants, they're not involved. If it was the New York Giants versus the Patriots, you'd hear a different person on this podcast. If it was the New York Giants, one last hurrah versus the New England Patriots, and we probably could say they're probably never going to meet in the Super Bowl with these core groups, you'd hear a different person. You'd hear a guy who's ramped up, and there's no fantasy. This is all reality. But that's what you're dealing with today. Now, I believe I mentioned this, and I'm really offended by it. I think it's really stupid. Gladys Knight, the great Gladys Knight, she needs no introduction. Gladys Knight will be singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Travis Scott, spoken on him. I don't know anything about Sicko Mode or any of that stuff. Couldn't tell you one of his songs. I know that he knocked up Kendall Jenner, got her pregnant, skeeted all up in it. And he's a big star. I know that. I don't know any of his music. I recognize him, but he means nothing to me. Big Boy from Outkast, one of the most influential groups ever. Him and Andre 3000 is also performing. Jermaine Dupri is one of the musical producers of the Super Bowl at halftime. And people are still talking shit about, it's like they're picking and choosing who's the Uncle Tom, who's the kiss ass, and who should be performing at the Super Bowl and who shouldn't. People are still going at Travis Scott because he's performing at the Super Bowl, saying some way he's betraying Colin Kaepernick. But no one's saying that about Gladys Knight. No one's saying that anymore about Big Boy from Outkast. And no one's saying it about the players. Why? If you're going to say Travis Scott is a sellout, why don't you say that to all the players? Why aren't they sellouts? Why don't you say that Colin Kaepernick isn't selling out himself because he's collecting money from Nike and Nike makes the NFL jerseys? It's like, listen, man, these are all grown-up people. Everybody's allowed to make their fucking decisions. I said it once, I say it again. You can support Colin Kaepernick and what he went through with the NFL and still play in the game, still perform. What about the ushers? What about the parking attendants? What about the guy selling the popcorn and peanuts at the Super Bowl? Black, white, everything. Do they not support Colin Kaepernick? And why should they? They should not work to support Colin Kaepernick? This ain't that serious if you ask me. I'm watching the game. I'm hyped up about the game. And these people that are saying that Travis Scott is a sellout are you going to watch the game? Yes. Don't front. You're watching the game. Don't front. You know I got you open. I'm expecting the great Gladys Knight to destroy, to kill, to bring a soulful rendition to the national anthem. I could give a fuck about Travis Scott. I can't wait to see Big Boy out there because it's in one of those you never thought that hip-hop would take it this far moments. You never thought that Big Boy from Outkast would be performing at the Super Bowl. And good. I'm happy for him. Fucking happy for him. Happy for fucking Travis Scott. I'm happy for all the people that are going to get paid working at the Super Bowl. Black, white, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. All of it. Shout out to the great Fyfe Dog. Now, I mentioned last night I had a dream. You know, dreams sometimes they feel like they're longer than they are in real life. I had a dream that I was in a recording studio with Biggie Smalls. And at one point, he started talking to me about doing a documentary about him. And I was like, yo, if we do a documentary, you know, we got to make it real. We got to tell your full story. Like, we got to go into everything. We got to go into not just how these songs were made, like what was going on. And then he would like write things down on paper and fold them up really small, like origami small, and then hand them to me. But then I woke up. That was the gist of the dream. But when I woke up, I was like, I felt like I had something profound had happened. And you know, I fuck with Biggie. I'm a Biggie fan, but you know, I wasn't like, you know, like I was more like a Tupac fan in terms of, like, I love Biggie and Biggie's songs, but Tupac was the one who emotionally got to me. That being said, it was just a dream, but it was just one of those really profound, felt very real type of dreams. He had on like the bubble goose. It was like wintertime. He had on the bubble goose. He was a lot bigger than I thought. Not fat, just taller. I never got to meet Biggie Smalls, but I'll tell you one thing. The first time I met Puff Daddy, I don't remember what year this was. It's probably like 99, 2000, 2001. The first time I was chilling with him. He said to me, yo, you were Biggie Smalls' favorite actor. And I was like, oh shit. He goes, yo, he fucking loved you. You were his favorite actor. Now, I don't know if that was some sort of, I'm using this term facetiously, some sort of pickup line. But I was like, you had me at hello, Puffy. Not literally. I'm just saying, like, I was like, what a compliment to say that to somebody. Who knows if it was true or not, but it was definitely something I always remember. And that was my Biggie Smalls dream late or early. I don't know when it was, early last night. One final thing about the football and the games and all the calls and non-calls and all that stuff, because I covered all that on the emergency I Am Rapaport stereo podcast that I mentioned earlier in this podcast. Again, if you don't have the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast app, you got to start asking yourself why. $2.99 a month, $2.99 fucking cents a month keeps you in the loop with all things emergency, not emergency, urgency, semi-urgency podcasts that go down on the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast. But one thing that I think the referees need to have going forward in the NFL, give them cell phones. Because we at home with our cell phones and our computers, we can tell the referees, yo, this happened, that happened. All this, yo, they got to check with Jersey, or they got to check with the commissioner's office in New York and all, blah, blah. Fuck all that. Let them carry their fucking cell phones out there. Check Twitter, check Instagram during the game. The whole thing will take 60 seconds when there's a controversial call, especially in these big games, in these playoff games and the Super Bowl. Anytime there's a controversial call, it should be checked. In this day and age, we're all on our phones anyway. Let the fucking refs be on their phones. They got to do this, and they can't review pass interference, and they can't review a non-call, and who cares? Just get it right, and then there's no complaining. The reality of it is the fucking New Orleans Saints should have gotten a pass interference call against the Los Angeles Rams. They didn't. Everybody saw it. Everybody knew it except for the referees. It's part of sports. It happens all the time. But if it doesn't need to happen with the technology, especially the technology that we have today, why do we let it happen? It's not 20 years ago. It's not the 60s. It's not the 70s. It's not the fucking 90s. If it doesn't need to happen, let's stop it right away. That's my opinion on that and those crazy calls. Like Super Bowls, U.S. Open finals, World Series and all that, everything should be checked. Every single thing should be checked, and it won't have to take 5 minutes. Let these assholes, the fucking referees, carry their phones in their pockets. They want to know what's going on Twitter. Maybe during a timeout, they go on Tinder. Who the fuck knows? Let them breathe. Let them live. I Am Rapaport Podcast. So I watched another episode of Blue Planet on Netflix. The show Blue Planet. It's called Blue Planet 2 because I believe it's season 2. And I've watched 2 episodes so far, and I talked about episode 1. I can't recommend this show more. I can't be more hyped and highly recommend this show. Listen, we talk shit here. We talk about sports. We talk about this. We talk about films. We talk shit. That's what we're here to do. The I Am Rapaport Serial Podcast is a celebration of fantastic shit talking. But if you want to watch something that'll give you a different perspective. That's really some Finding Nemo shit come to life. I can't recommend it any harder, any stronger. Blue Planet on Netflix. It's on Netflix. It's just mind-boggling, the things that are living in the ocean amongst us. Of course, what do you mean? What do you mean, asshole? It's not amongst us. It's the ocean. I'm just saying, on this planet, in this universe. In episode 2, they show, amongst other things, a fish that has a see-through head. Duke's head is see-through. You could see his brains, his whole skull, all that shit. Like, imagine it's a person, but you could, like, there's no hair. Like, his shit is see-through. And I know you're probably like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you, I'm watching this shit before I go to bed. I'm not high. I'm not drinking. I'm watching this shit with my wife. We pause it because we're like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? But it's just really relaxing and it's just mind-boggling. And I'm only 2 episodes in, and it's not a show. It's like a documentary. And I don't know if some of it goes like outside of the ocean, but the first 2 episodes have been in the ocean, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? The other thing that I watched over the weekend was this Fyre Festival documentary. Now, this Fyre Festival documentary, and it's spelled Fyre because that's the kind of asshole that put this thing together. So this was a big social media thing about, I think it was 2017. Yeah, it was like spring of 2017. It was this festival. It was supposed to be like a Coachella, like a Burning Man type of film festival, like a music festival, like a lifestyle festival, and everybody was going to go down to an island in the Bahamas that was first sold as one of Pablo Escobar's islands that he bought. I don't understand how that's a selling point. Pablo Escobar is a fucking drug dealing scumbag killer. Like, I don't know why people think this guy's dope or like he's some sort of like heroic figure. He's a piece of shit. But they were saying that, it's one of these islands that he once owned, and we're going to go down there, and there's going to be beautiful women, it's going to be a great party, and there's going to be great music. And this guy who, you don't know his name, you don't know this fucking asshole. His name, I think, is Billy Woodard. He's just some young, wannabe entrepreneur fucking asshole that obviously watched Wolf of Wall Street, The Social Network, and listened to way too much Jay-Z in his fucking life because he was, fronting it off. He was money scamming and borrowing from Peter to save Paul, to save Betty, to save Davis, and he got Ja Rule, the rapper, involved. And Ja Rule was sort of like the face of the festival. And they went down there and they, had all these models shoot this commercial, and it's going to be this great festival. And, this act is going to perform and that act's going to perform. And it's kind of, I was like, why would anyone go all the way to the Bahamas to watch Blink-182 and Ja Rule perform? First of all, that's number one. No disrespect to Blink-182 and Ja Rule, but I wouldn't get on a bus to watch these guys perform. It ain't the 90s. No, nobody wants to see fucking Ja Rule do Money Ain't a Thing. No, murder. Listen, 50 Cent already ruined you. I have no problem with Ja Rule. I like him. I don't like that 50 Cent fucked up his career, but I wouldn't get on a plane to see Ja Rule. Like, the selling points were Ja Rule, Blink-182, and I think one of the other headliners was like Major Lazer. Again, listen, no disrespect to any of these fucking artists, but I wouldn't go on a bus and a plane and all this shit to see any of these fucking bums perform. No disrespect. I don't mean to call them bums. Sincerely. Blink-182, they're not bums. They're not bums. You know what I'm saying. But that's just my taste. That's just my fucking taste. I don't like music festivals anyway. So I certainly wouldn't go down to the Bahamas to be what they were saying, the party of the century. And you were supposed to get all these things promised, and you were going to have villas, and, it was going to be a cashless thing. And if you bought, $3,000 worth of this, you get that. And if you bought $3,500, you get that. Nonetheless, This thing was a fucking disaster. It was a disaster from the beginning, and when it finally came to do the festival, people, and if you look at all the people that from the documentary, and it's called Fyre Festival, and there's two of them. I watched the one on Netflix. There's another one on Hulu. I can't wait to watch it, and it's great. It just goes to show what social networking and trying to be a part of something special and this community and all that. It's just you can't pay for community. You can't pay to be a part of something hip. You can't pay to be cool. All the assholes that went down there and flew down there, they're all nerd dumb fucks. They got taken because they're all people that wanted to pay to be a part of a cool festival and pay to be a part of something special. The lesson should be learned is you can't pay to be special. The Fonz didn't pay to be cool. Vinny Barbarino didn't spend any money to be cool. He just was cool. Jay-Z has been cool since he first came out. Obviously, now he's even cooler. But like, either you got it or you don't got it. And it's just a really interesting documentary. People went down there. There was nowhere to sleep. There was no food. There was no water. People were freaking out. Lawsuits afterwards. The guy who put it all together, this guy Billy McFarland, again, he was hopped up on too many viewings of Wolf of Wall Street and The Social Network. And all this fake branding and building businesses and we're going to change the world and influencers. Fuck all that shit. You call yourself an influencer? Who does that? Who's got the fucking gall to call themselves? Even the influencers. Like, you think Hove is going around saying, I'm an influencer? He's beyond a fucking influencer. I'm an influencer. People, listen, anybody that has that on their social media thing, I'm an influencer, stay away. They're trying to fucking scheme and scam you. It's a very fun, very interesting documentary called, again, Fyre Festival. And you'll watch it and you'll just be like, what a fucking shit show. And it's just, it's not just about the documentary. It's really just about like people sort of selling cool, trying to sell cool, trying to sell hip, trying to sell fresh, trying to sell dope. And you can't sell it. You can't market dopeness. I don't care what you try to do. You either got it or you don't. You could put, cool motherfucker is cool no matter what they're wearing. Cool motherfucker is cool no matter what they're driving. It ain't got nothing to do with any of that. That nothing to do with your sneakers, the socks you wear, the jewelry that you got. You're either cool, you're either a dope, cool motherfucker. And when I say cool, I just mean like cool or not. You can't brand it, you can't market it. Speaking of cool, segue. Bill Cosby's in jail. What the fuck is Bill Cosby doing right now? As you listen to this I Am Rapaport stereo podcast, what the fuck is Bill Cosby doing? Like, we've sort of like, that's been like skirted like away. We forgot about Bill Cosby being in prison. That motherfucker is in jail, not federal prison. He's in straight up jail. Like, that dawned on me earlier today. I was like, Bill Cosby's locked the fuck down. Because I was thinking about R. Kelly and how eventually that motherfucking scumbag, he's going to be locked the fuck down. But right now, Bill Cosby is truly on lock dizzle. Like, what is he doing in there? And I think Bill Cosby's such a savage and he's so strong that he's going to make it out of prison. Like he's such a sociopath. Like, he'll do his time and somehow get out of prison. I don't know if he'll go back to prison. I don't know about all his cases, but Bill Cosby, the former biggest star in the entire planet, is on lock dizzle, right? Nizzle. The young shooter had just recently watched the R. Kelly documentary. He's a couple of weeks late, and we were talking about that, and we were just going like, imagine if somebody made a documentary about you called Surviving whoever you are, whoever's listening to this. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, imagine if a documentary, a 6+ hour documentary came out about myself called Surviving Michael Rapaport, how fucked up that would be. Like how much of a piece of shit you have to be, and what kind of a piece of shit you must feel like when you see 6 hours of people just saying, you're this, you're that, you're a child molester, you're a child rapist, you're a piece of shit. And somehow, some way, even with that documentary out, R. Kelly right now is living free amongst us with young girls still listening to him, still abiding by him. He's going to wind up in prison getting that good old-fashioned, beautiful Wonder Bread bag and olive oil treatment consecutively. Like I said, my prediction is that he's going to get fucked to death in jail. But right now, he's just out and about like he could do whatever he wants. And you just know something just ain't right, to quote the great Keith Sweat with R. Kelly. He's a nasty motherfucker. So the other thing that was going on this weekend that I spoke out on was this situation that made international headline front page news with these kids from Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky who were obviously on a field trip in Washington, D.C. Last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday. There were all sorts of protests going on. There was a women's right march. There was the march, pro-life. There was pro-choice. There's all sorts of shit going on all the time in D.C. Everybody knows the story. Everybody heard about this. But this videotape surfaced of a bunch of teenagers, and we're not talking about 19, 20-year-old teenagers. We're talking about high school students. They look like they're 15, 16, 17 years old. They're field trip kids. And the Native American dude, an older guy, was standing there beating his drum. And what appeared from the first part of the video was that this one kid who looked like a real dickhead was standing in his face. And I'm going to get to that. What was totally true and totally real, which you could see in any version of the videotape, because there's multiple angles of this videotape, this incident. His friends are doing like the karate chop, like the Indian chop. They're chanting, they're screaming. There's a lot of hysteria. It basically looked like they were taunting these Native American protesters there. And, I spoke out on social media. I called them a Catholic school cocksucker, amongst other things. That just sort of rolled off the tongue very eloquently. Catholic school cocksucker, because it turned out they're from a Catholic school. A lot of them are wearing MAGA hats, Make America Great hats. And it's only been 2.5 years since people started rocking those hats. But let's go to any good incidents of people wearing those hats. Those hats represent Donald Trump. And I'm not going to go down a whole thing about Donald Trump, but the real thing about those hats that sets people off is that Donald Trump and Make America Great represents victory. It represents ass kicking. It represents we're right, you're wrong. Okay? Well, no matter what side you're on, Republican, Democrat, that what those hats represent is that. I don't think they're the new KKK masks. But they're an antagonistic gesture. Those hats are antagonistic. When Donald Trump says, make America great, we're winning, the Democrats are losing, the fake news, the fake media, this is all antagonistic, and it's coming from the president. So these hats represent that. Now, personally, I don't think 15, 16, 17-year-old boys should know, or more importantly, care about what the fuck is going on in politics. When I was 15, I knew nothing about politics, and that's the beauty of being 15. You're not paying taxes. You're not voting, okay? You're young, dumb, and full of cum. And you should act like that. You shouldn't be in D.C. on a field trip with Make America Great hats. That's number one. You shouldn't give a fuck. You should be down there trying to figure out ways to make out with girls, hang out with your homeboys, talk shit, fuck around, sneak candy, go on Instagram behind your teacher's back, and do all the shit that fucking teenagers do. You should be thinking about ways to bird dog chicks. You shouldn't think it's dope to show up to a rally on a field trip with Make America Great hats on. That to me is just so far out that teenagers would do that. Now these little dumb fucks, they're down there all hyped up, and apparently the black Israelites, who are fucking scumbags. Yes. I've seen these motherfuckers in New York my whole life. I've heard them say to people, I'll rape you, I'll beat your ass, bitch, I'll pillage you, I'll pillage your wife. Like when people walk by them, just anybody. I had that said to me by these motherfuckers on West A Street and 6th Avenue when I was with my ex-wife. Your wife will get raped. They're not saying it directly to me. They're saying it to anybody. Like they're fucking savages. They're not about anything. I don't know how they're allowed to go on the street and make those kinds of threats and not get arrested immediately because it's completely inciting. But I guess these kids had been, screamed at by those motherfuckers. And these little pieces of shit, they continued going with their stupid fucking hats on. But the one kid that stirred up all the controversy, who appears to be in the face of this elderly Native American dude, I have to say, after seeing the entire video, Shorty Shitstain didn't approach the elderly dude. The elderly dude didn't approach him. They just kind of were there. And a lot of people were saying, well, if I was there, I would have done this. If I was there, I would have done that. And I started thinking, well, there were a lot of people there. It appears that there's hundreds of people there. And the reason why no one did anything while that was happening is because if you were there, when you look at the whole videotape and you look at the raw videotape, it was a non-incident incident. I was saying, like, where are these motherfuckers' parents? But where's the chaperones? Where's the teachers? Where's the teacher's assistants to say, you know what, guys? Dumb fucks, asshole kids, you're not wearing a Make America Great hat down here. We're not down here to pick political sides. You're down here to learn. We're down here to tour this, to tour that. We're not down here to make statements. Those hats are statements and nothing good comes from it. And as infuriating as that first video looked, you got people now threatening these kids' lives, whether they're fucking dumb, racist assholes or not. You got people threatening the parents' lives. And at the end of the day, it ain't that serious, because when you look at the full video, I have to say it's just not as upsetting. It's not as infuriating. It's not as offensive. It's not as offensive as it appears when the first part of the video was released, which looked like the kid was in the elderly dude's face, and it pissed me off. So I don't fucking know. I think this is going to turn, this situation, it's just because of the Charlottesville and all the other fucked up things that have happened with these Make America Greats and the fucking Mike Pence and fucking suck off Sarah Sanders and all this and Trump and all this shit, the relentlessness of it. We're quick to get hype. We're quick to get hype. And I got hyper than I would have had I'd seen the whole video, because I've been like, this ain't nothing. To be honest, I would have said this ain't nothing. These kids are fucking dumbasses. Why the fuck are they down there rocking those fucking hats? Why do they care? Why does a 15-year-old care about making America great or Obama or any of this stuff? You're 15. Go play some video games and jerk off into a tissue, you little shit stain, you. I Am Rapaport Podcast. Leslie Jones, who I gotta say, I'm sure she's cool in real life, but you need to hold your fucking head, Leslie Jones. They're making another remake of the original Ghostbusters, the Bill Murray one, and the Dan Aykroyd one, and the Ivan Reitman one. And last year they released a new version of the Ghostbusters, and it was all females, and it was a piece of shit. I watched it. It was trash. It wasn't funny. It was corny as fuck. And it wasn't a box office success. So now they're doing another version of it, and it's going to be more reminiscent of the original, although, the original was sort of primitive when it looks at CGI and all that stuff you could do now. Leslie Jones was on Twitter talking out of the fucking side of her fucking neck, saying about the new Ghostbusters, which is with all male stars. She said, and I'm fact checking, so insulting, like fuck us, we didn't count. It's like something Trump would do. Gonna redo Ghostbusters, better with men, will be huge. These women ain't Ghostbusters. So annoying, such a dick move. And then she says, I don't give a fuck, I'm saying something. Leslie Jones, the movie you were in was trash. Your version, the all-female version of Ghostbusters was shit. I saw it. The shit was whack. This is show business. This ain't business show. You catching feelings because they're not including you and the women from the reboot, the all-female reboot. Your movie was whack. We can't sell another version of your film. Like, hold your fucking head. The version of Ghostbusters you was in was straight trash. It was doo-doo, okay? This whole like, oh, it's feminist means it's great. Oh, it's LGBTQ, that means it's great. Nah, it doesn't mean that. It just means that it's feminist. It just means that it's female. It just means that it's LGBTQ. Doesn't mean it's necessarily good. Doesn't mean it's better. Kamala Harris is running for president. I don't know if there's ever been a black woman running for president. Sounds good. She's not beating Dick Stain. Are people going to vote for her just because she's a woman? They didn't vote for Hillary just because she's a woman. So all this like tricks, smokes, mirrors, and all that fly shit, you better come with the motherfucking noise, because Dick Stain, if he's around in 2020, he's bringing the noise. He's bringing the noise, the shit talking, he's bringing all of it. So Kamala Harris, you better be ready to fucking rumble 15 fucking rounds into the deep waters with Dick Stain, Donald Trump, because he showed everybody he's bout it. Finally, Carmelo Anthony, I thought he was already, I didn't know, I thought he was like a free agent who had been dropped. Somehow, some way, he was traded to the Chicago Bulls and will probably get dropped by then, making him an unrestricted free agent, yada, yada, yada. What a way to go out. What a way to end your fucking career, Carmelo Anthony. Let's not forget that he started the season with the Houston Rockets and then was released by the Houston Rockets. They said, we're better off. Yo, Carmelo Anthony has to be a fucked up teammate for the Houston Rockets to release his ass. And they released his ass. Carmelo Anthony has spent the first half of this season chilling, not playing basketball, injury-free. He ain't coming to the Lakers. They got enough fucking problems. They got their asses kicked last night by the Golden State Warriors. At one point during the game, Klay Thompson had 10 for 10 three-pointers. That could happen to anybody versus the Golden State Warriors, but the Lakers are not bringing in Melo. If it didn't work with one of his best friends, Chris Paul in Houston, LeBron is not going on the Carmelo Anthony ship. It ain't happening. Listen, I could go on and on. I could go on and on. I mean, fucking yesterday was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Sarah Sanders went on Twitter and said, today we honor a great American who gave his life to right the wrong of racial equality. Dumb fuck. Pig-faced Sarah. Suck it all, Sarah. He didn't give his life. He was murdered. You dumb fucking animal. He gave his life to right the wrong of racial equality. You stupid animal, you. Mike Pence, he compared Donald Trump to Martin Luther King. He said, now is the time to make real promises of democracy. You think of how he changed America. He inspired us to change through legislative process to become a more perfect human union. That's exactly what Donald Trump is calling on Congress to do today. You compared Dick Stain Donald Trump to Martin Luther King Jr.? How fucking out of touch are these people? Like, how out of touch? Like, why would you say some shit like that when you, number one, you know it's not true, and number two, like, do you not know how people feel about Dick Stain Donald Trump? Mike Pence? The guy who needs a chaperone to be around other women? You scumbag? You can't be around other women in a business or a professional setting alone without a chaperone? You should bring a chaperone when you're around other men, because I truly believe Mike Pence takes it up the balloon knot. I think he takes it in the shitter, in the dumper. That's just my gut instinct. And no disrespect. That's what you want to do you. But come clean. To quote the great J. Rue, the Damager. And that being said, I'm out. Miles Jordan, please give me something real nice, something real proper. Take me out of here with something real funky. I'm done.